Last week I intended to make a video about some of the equipment that I use in my art practice, but I just seemed to run out of time and it didn't happen. So I thought I'd make a quick video explaining what it is I've been up to and why I've been running out of time. I guess you could call it an art vlog? So, what have I been up to? Well, I've been drinking a lot of smoothies, as you might expect if you've watched any of my videos, and I've been playing on a rope swing in the woods. Less expected. And last week I had to go into hospital for a very minor and routine procedure. This is me trying to film my cannula because, you know, I'm a YouTuber now, I have to record everything. And I had to be sedated as part of the procedure, not because I was hysterical or anything like that. And although I was conscious throughout, the sedation really wiped me out. I got home, I had something to eat, actually I drank a smoothie, and then I just passed out and I slept for the best part of 2 days. So I lost a few days to that, but even when I was fully recovered, I didn't get round to making a YouTube video and I didn't even do any drawing. In fact, this is the first drawing I've done in a couple of weeks. I'm going to film this process while I talk so that you don't have to watch me swinging through trees or drinking smoothies for the whole video. As an illustrator, it would be lovely to be able to just draw all day, every day, and I think some people assume that's what I do. But there's always admin type jobs to take care of as well. Answering emails, updating my online shop, getting stock out to physical shops or customers, and doing the accounts, that kind of thing. And at the moment I've got a lot of this admin type stuff going on because I've been making some changes. So firstly, my website needed updating. There were a few small tweaks like adding some new links, and I desperately need to update my portfolio, but that's more of a long-term task that I'm ignoring for the moment. I used to have a section on my website for my watercolour work, but as I'm not really enjoying working in watercolours at the moment, I decided to remove that section, and I've replaced it with this page called 100 Animals. Now there's not 100 animals there right now, there's 20, and admittedly some of them are people, but that number will grow as I work on my 100 animal challenge, which is just about practicing the rendering techniques of this new style that I'm working in. So they're just animals standing around looking cute. There's no action, minimal emotion going on in these pictures, but that's okay. There's also going to be a new shop section on the website. There'll be prints and stickers, and I've got some really nice postcards made from my recent 30 days, 30 dogs drawing challenge. And I've turned some of them into these cute wooden decorations as well that you can hang on your Christmas tree or wherever. I realise that this one is a squirrel, not a dog, but there are dog ones. So that's on its way, but there are some technical issues with my web host at the moment which are delaying things. And since I'm not really working in watercolours anymore, I decided to separate my new stuff from my existing watercolour pieces in my Etsy shop. I know that the pictures that result from my watercolour and my digital work are not massively different to most people, but to me they are. The watercolours represent something that I no longer want to do, at least not at the moment, and while I'll still be selling the existing prints and cards and so on, I wanted to kind of draw a line under that and have a space where I could just show my newer designs, which is what I'll have in the shop section of my website once it's up and running, but in the meantime I made a new Etsy shop. Now, I dithered over this for quite a long time, to be honest. My existing Etsy shop has over 16,000 sales. I've got a ton of 5-star reviews and it's benefiting from all the good SEO stuff. The vast majority of traffic to my Etsy shop comes from Etsy itself or from Google. I'm not really sending people there myself. So I'm aware that I'm slightly shooting myself in the foot by starting a new shop that's going to struggle to get found rather than just building on the success of the existing shop, but I really did feel like I wanted to make a fresh start with the new designs, so I'm going to give it a go and see what happens. But yeah, setting up a new Etsy shop and creating the listings takes time. And I've also made some changes to the old shop. I've had several inquiries recently from people asking if they could buy digital versions of my prints for them to download and print at home. And I've always said no to these kind of requests in the past, but if you're not based in the UK, the cost and time involved with international shipping makes the option to print something yourself quite appealing. So I spent about 2 days making these listings for all my prints and creating the appropriate files in various aspect ratios. So if you buy a print from one of these listings, you'll have instant access to 5 different versions of the artwork with slightly different dimensions for framing. And people have been buying these digital versions already, so I think what I'm going to do now is expand on that and include prints of single animals, not just the kind of natural history grouped animals. I've got a massive back catalogue of individual species that I've painted over the years, and I think it'll be really fun to pick out the best and try and decide what species people might want. But again, that's quite a big time-consuming job. The other big thing that I've spent my time on was setting up a Patreon, and again I ummed and ahed about doing this, but in the end I decided to just give it a go. The thing with Patreon is you really need followers elsewhere, like Instagram, that you can bring over to Patreon. I think I heard that something like 1 in every 1,000 Instagram followers could be expected to convert to a patron. And despite being on Instagram for a decade, I have very few followers. And don't get me wrong, I'm really grateful for each and every one of them, and I've made some really nice connections over on Instagram. But it doesn't matter what I do, the Instagram algorithm just does not favour me. In fact, these days when I post to Instagram, I actively shed followers. It's like people see my post and are reminded of my existence and question why they ever chose to follow me in the first place. But my main issue with Instagram isn't to do with the algorithm or the new AI scraping, it's that it's just become a really horrible place to be. I no longer see posts from the accounts that I actually chose to follow. And there are people there that I assumed had left the platform because it was just like radio silence from them, but when I've searched and gone to their feed, there's lots of new stuff there. They're posting regularly. I've just never seen any of it because all I'm seeing is totally irrelevant ads or nonsense reels from people repurposing other people's content. And as much as I try to avoid that stuff, sometimes you just can't help yourself, and that's where Instagram has become really unpleasant. So the other day I watched a cute video of some little piglets. It was totally innocent, wholesome stuff. But the comments section was like this vile battleground covering everything from religion, race, class, homophobia, trans rights, and one guy was even suggesting that children from single-parent families fail to finish high school and all become criminals. And this was on a video about pigs. And obviously none of it is presented as reasoned or respectful debate. It's just vile. It's like the worst of Twitter have suddenly discovered Instagram, and I don't enjoy it anymore. Anyway, I didn't mean to rant about social media. The point is, I decided to create a Patreon account, and that's going to be a space where I share what I'm working on. So in addition to new finished pictures, there'll be work in progress and behind the scenes stuff, and maybe some longer posts about art and illustration. And I'm going to post all that stuff for free. It won't be behind the paywall. Now, I do have 2 membership tiers that people can upgrade to if they want to support me and receive things like stickers and mini prints or postcards. But most of what I plan to share will be free, and there'll be a link below if you're interested in that. But again, setting that up took a big chunk of time. It's felt like this last month I've had a lot of sort of setup stuff to do, and it's felt like I needed to just tick that off my to-do list before I could just focus on enjoying drawing and making YouTube videos. Of course, the truth is there's always some admin type task that needs to be done. I need to find a way of balancing those with drawing regularly, rather than trying to tick off the big jobs from my to-do list before I make time for art. But now it's the school summer holidays here in the UK, so that's 6 weeks where any kind of plan or to-do list or routine is out the window. But more time for smoothies and finding rope swings in the woods.